Welcome to the channel. Welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before getting into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's jump straight into it. So if you watched yesterday's video, there's a story or report came out from Sport Build regarding Adeyemi. Now, Florian Plettenberg's jumped in on the bandwagon as well, and he's had the following to say. Manchester United have inquired about Karim Adeyemi and obtained information from Jorge Mendes. The situation continues to be monitored. Dortmund is still pushing to extend Adeyemi's contract, but no agreement has been reached so far. It remains unclear whether Dortmund will actually include a release clause in the new deal. However, Adeyemi stroke Mendes want to have one included. So this story still feels to me personally like contract negotiations or a negotiation tactic from Mendes regarding Adeyemi. They're under, they're clearly discussing a new contract. They want to include a release clause of around 70 million pounds, I think it was, going off of the report yesterday from Build. But it's interesting because in yesterday's video, went along the lines of, well, is it Mendes reaching out to United to try and get a deal done? In which case, I wasn't necessarily on board with the deal, but according to Florian Plettenberg, it might be the other way round, where United have inquired. So if we've gone and reached out to Mendes, stroke Adeyemi, to see if there's a potential of a deal, then that flips the script a little bit, in my opinion, because that means that we are genuinely interested. It's not just an agent coming to us and saying, "Here, do you want my player?" Which is which is totally different to us actually making inquiries. And Florian Plettenberg's fairly decent when it comes specifically to Bundesliga news as well, and transfers and stuff. So one to pay attention to when it comes specifically to like Dortmund and Bayern Munich and places like that. Outside of that, not the most credible in my opinion, but credible when it comes to this type of deal as well. So that's one to pay attention to. I still feels a little bit agent talks to me, contract negotiations. Let's see what other clubs are offering. I've heard a report today saying Arsenal might be interested as well. So, yeah, one to pay attention to. It's not going to be a January deal anyway. That's one maybe more for the summer. But we are looking for another forward, someone with some pace that can run at players. Adeyemi's a good player, and we have looked at him before. We've been interested in him. I think before we went to Dortmund, if I remember rightly. So that's one to pay attention to. Give us your thoughts and feelings on Adeyemi. Do you think he'd be worth a shout in the summer? I think I could see that, but for the price, 70 million pounds seems a little bit high, and I've got massive reservations about signing players from Dortmund. I am scarred by the transfer dealings that we've had with them, because Kagawa I thought was going to be a really good player, Mkhitaryan the same, Jadon Sancho the same, and none of them have worked out. We have an absolutely horrific track record of signing players specifically from Dortmund, specifically attacking players as well, where they just haven't quite cut the mustard. And I've got a bit of a concern around his attitude. He's falling out with the manager, was subbed and threw a bottle around or something like that, I think it was. So, there are a few concerns regarding the deal, but at the moment, it still feels to me, it's just my opinion. You probably have a different one, and I'm sure you'll share it in the comments if you do, but it feels a little bit agent driven, this one, where he's trying to get new contract out of Dortmund. Let's put the feels around and see what other clubs are going to offer and go back to them. But again, one to pay attention to. But for 70 million pounds, the price the other day, was it yesterday? There was even though it was a bullshit story from a not so credible source, they were talking about Semenyo for like 65 to 80 million pounds. Like, I'd rather pay a little bit more and get someone that's Premier League proven. In Semenyo, personally, when you're talking sort of 70 million pounds for Adeyemi. But interesting option. We'll pay attention to it. We'll see if anything comes from it or not. We'll see if he ends up signing a new contract. If it does include a release clause, be interesting to see whether that's been included with the with Dortmund wanting to sell him in the summer in mind to protect the value of a player. So yeah, we'll pay attention to that one. But give us your thoughts. Adeyemi, yes, no, maybe. Give us your shouts in the comments below regarding that. Now let's go through the daily midfield news that we're going through at the moment. So this is coming. So Ben Jacobs has had the following to say regarding Joao Gomes. So Manchester United is interested in Joao Gomes, who could become available on the market if Wolves are relegated from the Premier League. There is a chance that interested clubs might attempt to sign him in the January transfer window if Wolves relegation is still likely, as that money could be very useful to the club. Wolves had previously valued the Brazilian midfielder at a figure in excess of £60 million, similar to the transfer fee received for Matheus Cunha. So that's interesting. Been mentioning that a lot when talking about Joao Gomes over the last week or so, is that, what is Wolves' appetite going to be to sell in January? Because if they do need the money because they want to strengthen in other areas, i.e. buy some goal scorers or something of that nature, could that be an opportunity that presents itself to United? And if he is one of the players that we are looking for and he's on the list, and, is that potentially something United could do in January? I think it's plausible. It's just whether he's going to be the right player that we want to go for, because we're not going to sign a player just for the sake of signing a player. We want to go for our top targets, and if he's seen as a top target, then that could be one to pay attention to specifically for January. If not, the other targets we all know is going to be mainly summer deals. Sean Connolly, though, who's decent as well when it comes to United, did say that Ruben Amorim and INEOS are reportedly exploring a potential January move for Joao Gomes. The ex-Flamengo midfielder fits several of the requirements set by Manchester United director Jason Wilcox. So that's interesting if United are looking to maybe do something for Joao Gomes in January. If there's an appetite for Wolves to sell £60 million, the same as for Matheus Cunha, I think that's possible, because if we think back to the summer, we did make a move for Carlos Baleba because there were rumours that through the intermediaries that was going on at the time, that they were sort of been told that they might want, sort of Mbumo type money. So 65 million pounds, I think it was. And then when we went to Brighton, they were like, yeah, we're not selling him at all. So we walked away from that deal. So that suggests that we do have around that sort of figure available if we were going to go to Brighton, under the assumption that maybe we could do a deal around the £60 million mark. Obviously, that was a bit naive because the narrative was they want Casado money, which is a little bit more than £60 million. But if we've got that budget, and the budget is there, that could be plausible for January. But again, it's going to be a case of wait and see what happens. We'll obviously need to keep an eye on Wolves' form between now and January as well, because if they are still battling relegation and they need money to strengthen in another area, that opportunity could present itself. And according to Sean Connolly, we are exploring that as a possible deal. Whether we'll do it or not, obviously, we've got weeks to go before the transfer window opens. A lot could happen between now and then. But yeah, it's worth paying attention to. I think Joao Gomes could become a viable option if they want to pursue it in January. But the main target that we know, I've just mentioned him there, Carlos Baleba, is still the name on everybody's lips at the moment. Ben Jacobs said that Manchester United have completed all the groundwork for a move for Baleba and already secured the player's approval. A summer transfer is considered a realistic possibility. So obviously we had David Ornstein the other day. It was his opinion, but is it opinion based on reality, where he said, who would he sign for United? And he said Carlos Baleba because we want him, he wants us. And that seems to, if the shoes fits, then wear it type situation. So again, is it still Carlos Baleba? Or are they just still like, well, we've crunched all the numbers, we've looked at the data, even though his form has dropped off this season, he's still a young player. We think he is the right fit for the long term of the club, and obviously with the vision of the club going forward as well, maybe it is still potentially going to be Carlos Baleba in the summer. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now, just on the data, this was an interesting piece, came from Simon Stone, saying that Michael Sansoni, since his arrival from the Mercedes F1 team as director of data, has completely revamped United's data capabilities, which are now being used extensively across performance, recruitment, and training. And precise details of the work Sansoni has implemented are a closely guarded secret. But one source said the work of United's data and analytics team has accelerated to such a degree it is now among the top 4 teams. And I've been wanting United to go down this route for ages. It's still actually quite embarrassing that we haven't until now got hold of this data analyst and gone down this route, because I think it's having an impact on the lack of injuries. We've not had that many injuries because Amorim's following the data and not training the players as hard. There was a piece today from Samuel Luckhurst, I think, which I might show you in at the end, actually, around the injuries and stuff, and that may be one of the reasons why. But obviously the recruitment, all of that stuff, it's only helpful to get this sort of department up and running, because there's countless teams, across Europe that do this data. I mean, Liverpool got a really good data team, and their recruitment up until this summer has been really, really good. Brighton, prime example, the team that follow the data and crunch the numbers and sign players because they're the right profile and stuff. So I think it's adding an extra layer to United, and I'm glad that we're finally going down that route. And according to Simon Stone, got one of the best in class already, and have been there less than a year as well, which is impressive. But yeah, that can only help, and that'll be what they'll be looking at when it comes to obviously recruitment and bits like that as well. Jason Wilcox said it in one of his interviews, didn't he? That they'll go out, scout the profile of player they're looking for, and then the scouts will present it to the data team. They'll do all the analytics, and then they'll come up with a short list of players from there. So hopefully that will help, and hopefully we can get the benefits and the rewards of that going forward by being a little bit more data driven. But give us your shouts on that in the comments below, as I am sure you will. Now let's go through. Now we've actually been linked with a new player today, which is a little bit exciting. So this is coming from Simon Jones in the Mail, where he is saying that Manchester United targeting Sporting Lisbon wonderkid compared to PSG star Nuno Mendes. So Manchester United are exploring a move for Sporting Lisbon defensive prospect Salvador Blopa. The 18-year-old can play at right back or right midfield, and has already been linked to former clubmate Nuno Mendes, now at Paris Saint-Germain. His effervescent running and reading of the game. Blopa, though, is already 6'2" tall and offers a more physical presence both in defence and going forward. A regular in Sporting B's team, he was rewarded for his performances at that level with a promotion to the club's first team by coach Rui Borges last month, and scored 2 goals in the Portuguese League Club win over Alverca. And other European sides, including Real Madrid, have been following his progress, but United are understood to have taken initial soundings and held conversations regarding his availability. Now, I know absolutely zero about this player. Doing some quick research and stuff, me likey, would be not necessarily, because we know we're not signing players based on, you know, manager recommendations anymore. It's club, it's data driven. We've just mentioned around the data department and scouting and stuff, and actually looks like a decent prospect. And I'm cool with United doing this. I've said before, when it comes to signing these sort of players, these young up and coming developmental players, I don't have an issue with United going for it. I think they've got their track record has massively improved since we got Chris Favell, Jason Wilcox, and everyone like that behind the scenes. I like the, and I like the sound of the idea. I do think we do need a wing back, whether that's on the right or on the left. Obviously, this kid can play on the right as wing back or as a full back as well. Even though left is an issue for me, but I was thinking about this before. If we got Martinez coming back, can we use Luke Shaw there? And then at least give time, because Harry Amis is doing really well out on loan. And then you've got Diego Leon as well, who's starting to become very highly regarded behind the scenes as well. So actually, is it a case we just plug that gap, use Dorgu and Shaw maybe for the rest of the season? Hopefully, if Martinez comes back and because he's going to play every game at left-sided centre back, that's for sure, because he's our best defender, I think, our best ball playing defender in that regards as well. So actually, does that then push the left wing back down the line? But then we know on the right side we need someone that's a little bit more attacking, because when Ahmad doesn't play, we're so defensive down there. I don't rate Dalot personally. I think Mazraoui can do a job at fullback, but I don't think he's got the attacking prowess to be, to bomb up and down quite effective. Like, there's a drop off, isn't there, on the right when Ahmad's not playing? So to go for somebody like that's got a good reputation from Sporting, will maybe know the system as well. Obviously, Amorim will know him from his time there. Yeah, that would be an interesting shout to bring in. But give us your thoughts and feelings. Let me know in the comments as well if you've watched much more of the player and you think that it's going to be a good signing. I'd be interested to hear what you've got to say regarding that. That would be a good thing to share in the comments if you know more about the player. But yeah, give us your thoughts and feelings on that below. Now, been another bit of transfer news. So, Seny Lamens looks like the club's long-term number one as it stands, but they appear to be looking for a backup. Manchester United have set their sights on Malmo FF's Melker Ellborg, and he made his first team debut He's played 14 matches for Malmo so far, keeping 7 clean sheets and conceding 7 goals. United have included Ellborg on their shortlist. Such a transfer wouldn't be costly, but it's a situation to keep an eye on. And that came from a Swedish news outlet suggesting that United are maybe looking at this kid as a potential backup for Sen Lemons, which is odd because obviously we've got the goalkeeper department, but we are going to be looking at goalkeepers because Tom Eaton's is definitely is going to be his last season. We don't know what's going to happen with Bayinda as well. I imagine he maybe wants to leave to get some game time. But then we've got the Vitek out on loan who's doing really well. Did an interview the other day with Sky, saying that we'll see next summer what's best for me. I speak on a regular basis with my goalkeeper coach from Manchester United, who has come here to watch my games, and I have a good connection with them. I know they're watching me, and I really appreciate that. I'm not just the guy who has been forgotten or anything. Obviously, long term, I would love to play for Manchester United one day, but also I'm realistic, and I know that my pathway can lead somewhere different as well. So it makes, it'll be frustrating to go for a young goalkeeper when you've got Vitek, who's doing really well at Bristol on loan this season. But then, it's a difficult one with goalkeepers, isn't it? Because Vitek's going to want to play and develop his career. Is he going to want to sit on the bench behind Sen Lemons for the rest of his career? Probably not. So it's a difficult one, isn't it, with goalkeepers? Because they're very rarely injured, very rarely rotated. It's just one of these, isn't it? But yeah, interesting shout. Personally, I would rather bring Vitek back than go and get another young goalkeeper. Personally, but we'll have to wait and see. Vitek might want to go now. He's got a taste of first team footballers, or he might not want to be a number 2. He might not want to compete with Sen Lemons in the future. So you've got to factor that in as well. But yeah, give us your shouts on that in the comments below, as I am sure that you will. There's been a bit of an injury update on Mainoo. So Manchester United expect Kobbie Mainoo to be fit for the Everton game after missing Spurs. Spurs not thought to be serious. So Mainoo hopefully is going to be back after the international break. There's still no update at the time of recording this video on the severity of Benjamin Sesko's injury. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that plays out. Keeping with Mainoo, Peter Hall has said that Kobbie Mainoo is not interested in leaving Manchester United permanently. However, he is keen on a loan move in January, with Napoli, Bayern Munich, and a host of Premier League clubs eyeing his signature. But we'll have to wait and see what happens regarding Mainoo and Xerxes' situation in January. Just on Xerxes, there been a report coming out from Samuel Lucker saying that Joshua Xerxes has been told there is no chance of a mid-season departure from United. As Sunspot revealed last month, United are prepared to block requests from players to leave in the winter transfer window as they are set to lose Mbeumo, Ahmed and Mazraoui during the AFCON, which starts on December 21st. Xerxes 24 has not started a game for United since April. Jesus, it's been that long. But has been an ever-present in matchday squads, and his playing time could increase with fellow forwards Ahmed and Mbeumo in Morocco for AFCON. 18th place West Ham would likely be better off with a more prolific forward. Xerxes has not scored a Premier League goal since December Jesus Christ. That puts things into perspective, doesn't it, with Joshua Xerxes? But according to Samuel Luckhurst, he's saying that he's been told there is no chance of a mid-season departure. And I do think we'll need players for AFCON when Mbeumo and Ahmed are gone. But AFCON, I think, finishes before the transfer window closes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens towards the end of the transfer window with some of the players that we've got. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. And then the final update I've got for you is regarding Marcus Rashford, and this is coming from El Nacional, saying that Marcus Rashford could have the option to return to the Premier League in the summer, with reports surrounding talks with clubs taking place. According to El Nacional, the player's agent has already had contact from both Chelsea and Tottenham over a possible move. Rashford is said to be keen to keep his options open in case Barcelona decide not to take up the option to make his deal permanent at the end of the loan agreement. The report adds that his priority is to remain with the Spanish club, but the only thing for certain is that he doesn't want to return to United. And then there's been another update after that saying that transfer interest from Chelsea and Tottenham in Marcus Rashford has come as quite the shock, but Barcelona's potential reason for not wanting to sign him permanently is not too surprising. So this is from the same outlet saying that Barcelona are not guaranteed to activate the 30 million buy option clause to sign him permanently, as the bulk of their transfer budget is expected to be used on signing a successor to Robert Lewandowski. Given their financial problems, such a stance certainly makes sense, but their reporters also claim that there are also some concerns over Rashford's end product, specifically with regards to goals and where he would fit in once all Barcelona's star attackers are fit. So El Nacional is suggesting that maybe Barcelona and look not, I don't want to say not keen, but may have difficulty signing Rashford permanently. One, because of the cost, because they might want to use their budget to go and get a top quality striker to replace Lewandowski. There's concerns over Rashford and where he fits when everybody's back available and fit for Barcelona. I thought he's been doing quite well for them, to be fair, but you know, is he in their long term plans? Who knows? But that would be a turn up, wouldn't it? Chelsea or Tottenham potentially interested. Of course, Chelsea are going to be interested. They need loads of wingers, don't they? Tottenham would actually be a decent shout. I think. I think he could do quite well at Tottenham, Rashford. But keep an eye on it for you. We'll wait and see. Wait and see how that one plays out. And yeah, I'll bring you any updates when they come out regarding that. But give us your thoughts in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video, because that's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. See you in the next one.